Yeah, it's going down. That's it. This year, this new year is going to be a interesting year on many levels. The president of the United States is not playing in internationally and nationally. Um, he's going to do some major changes in February to sanctuary cities. Get ready, guys. Get ready. I'm trying to get situated right now. So let me know what you think. Without further ado, let's get into this one.
Day notices to places like California, Scott. Right away, we're going to send out that notice. Who would bill the federal government as people poured into the state to send those people back because no country can afford to do it? No country can afford to take in millions of people, pay for their education, their health care, their hospitals. You just can't do it. And we all have a heart. You can't do it. But many of those people are murderers. They're people released from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums. They're people that are drug dealers. They're addicts. Additionally, starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities.
There is no strict definition for sanctuary policies or sanctuary cities, but the terms generally describe limited cooperation with immigration and customs enforcement. In an executive order last year, the president directed federal officials to withhold money from sanctuary jurisdictions that seek to shield people in the country illegally from deportation. A California-based federal judge struck it down despite government lawyers saying it was too early to stop the plan when no action had been taken and no specific conditions had been laid out. In Trump's first term in office in 2017, courts struck down his effort to cut funding to the cities.
Additionally, from this moment forward, if you're on public assistance like almost all Somalis are, did you see where 94% of them are on public assistance? You can't wire money out of the country back to your bank account from where you came. But more importantly, we probably aren't even going to give them the money anymore, the money going to them because of the tremendous abuse and probably illegality being perpetrated on our country. We're not going to give them the money. We're not giving them the money. It's massive numbers of people are scamming our country. You know, they came from a place with nothing. And they come here and they drive around in Mercedes-Benz. You know, the Mercedes-Benz dealers do well in that area of Minnesota. Can you believe it? They have nothing. They get welfare payments and they have Mercedes-Benzes. It angers me so much, but we're going to straighten out our country. This was done under Biden.
He's telling some truth, you know. You got to, like, it was, I think we learned about the nonprofit. It was the nonprofits, the legislature, the these political positions that people it was like it's been exposed like it was a big quiet deal that was made, and the foreign foreign international people that benefit. They said it was 70% of people that was on welfare and all these programs and not working and also going to school and everything. I'm like, your whole existence is on the backs of American taxpayers. You say it's what the government. No, the government get funding from the taxpayers, and the president supposed to oversee this in the executive branch. He's the executive branch. He's the executive over the country. He's seeing numbers coming from different states. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? We're sending money, but why there's nobody working? If 70% of these people that's receiving these benefits are and going to school and their whole existence is living off the system. And that's a sad thing. What do you think? You know, who wants to pay that? You know, we got people. We want to help the elderly, the disabled, people going through a lot of these situations. But just to have people in here benefiting off the programs that are supposed to aid the people that need it, the needy, and also temporary assistance. Yeah, things got to be changed. So I think he's doing a good thing. What's your opinion? Leave a comment down below.
And Obama, very much under Obama. It all started under Obama. And we just can't. We've got a great country. We're not going to screw it up. But this was one of the great scams ever. They have the same thing, Somali in Maine. Who would think? I never saw that happening. But in Maine, it's really crooked as hell, too. But it's not just Somali. It is them, but it's not just. There are many other places, many other people. The whole country, if we stop this fraud, this massive fraud, we're going to have a balanced budget. That's how much money you're talking. We'll have a balanced budget without all the growth I'm talking about. And then you add the growth, we got one hell of a country. We're giving 90-day notices to places like California, Scott. Right away, we're going to send out that notice. Who would bill the federal government as people poured into the state to send those people back because no country can afford to do it? No country can afford to take in millions of people, pay for their education, their health care, their hospitals. You just can't do it. And we all have a heart. You can't do it. But many of those people are murderers. They're people released from jails, prisons, mental institutions, insane asylums. They're people that are drug dealers. They're addicts. Additionally, starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities. We have also suspended nearly 8,000 SBA loans, Small Business Association loans, to suspected scammers in Minnesota, of which there are many. It's a great state. It was a great state. Now it's getting destroyed by that stupid governor. What a stupid guy he is. But he's a crook. I mean, he's an incompetent guy, but he's a crook. He allowed this to go. You can't have corruption on a scale that nobody's ever seen before, and you're sitting as a governor and you don't know what's going on. It's impossible, even though he's a stupid guy. We're investigating large-scale visa fraud, and the Department of Justice has already charged nearly 100 people in criminal conspiracies in Minnesota. They're all over the place. Last week, we announced that I'm creating a brand-new division at the Department of Justice, a legal strike force led by a really tough, smart new Attorney General for fraud. He's a fantastic young guy. He's so impassioned to do this properly. We intend to imprison any fraudster, politician, or public official involved in these sick plots to loot and pillage our country. Think of that Ilan Omar. She lives in Somalia. They don't have a government. They don't have a military. They don't have police. They don't have anything. All they have is murder and robbing ships, bringing in ships, pirates. That's stopped. Same missile, ping. That's the end of them. It's amazing how that can stop corruption. Those missiles, they never miss, you know. The same one, exactly the same one. But think of it. She comes from a country with nothing, and she comes here and she tells us about our Constitution. I have a constitutional right to rip off the country. I guess she's a total scam artist. Anybody knows it. How do you let her get away with it? AOC +3. She was one of the three. They're all scammers. They're so bad for our country. They're so bad for our country. Our ICE operation in Minnesota, for example, is finding hundreds of killers, violent predators, and child rapists, some of the worst criminal offenders anywhere in the world, murderers all over the place. All we want to do is get them out. Did you see the pictures that we put up? Hundreds of them. Murderers wanted for murder, wanted for the worst drug selling. One of them is one of the biggest drug dealers in the world. And vicious. Sells bad drugs, too. Bad drugs, like if you take a tiny little morsel, your child is dead. And we're getting them. But it's hard to get them because they make it so impossible for you. And you wonder why. Why would they do that? You know, do they want to live with murderers? Do they want to live with these people that are emptied out from prisons?
Barabbas.
They have a lot of people. One of the reasons I was so angry with Venezuela, they emptied their prisons almost entirely into the United States of America. Tren de Aragua was the gang, one of the worst, probably the most violent gang there is anywhere in the world, they say. We're getting them out. We've got a lot of them out already, but we're getting them out. We're also going to revoke the citizenship of any naturalized immigrant from Somalia or anywhere else who is convicted of defrauding our citizens. We're going to get them the hell out of here fast. And if you come to America to rob Americans, We're throwing you in jail and we're sending you back to the place from where you came. We're throwing you right in jail. And they know it, too. And one of the reasons they're doing these fake riots, I mean, they're just terrible. I mean, you see it's so fake. Shame, shame, shame. You see the woman. That's all practice. They go practice. They go to areas, they take hotel rooms, and they all practice together. It's a whole scam. We're finding out who's funding all this stuff, too. We pretty much know.
Yeah, it's real out there, man. It's a lot of corruption that's been revealed now. This president's not playing. This administration not playing. I didn't know it was this deep, guys. I really didn't know it was this deep, and I'm aware of it now. I knew I could feel it in my state of Washington. I could feel a lot of things that wasn't working right for a lot of people in the community. Was talking about jobs. A lot of people were scared to talk in front of other people because they was connected to other people. But you could just see the streets. People to find the work. It was hard to find work. You look at the restaurants. There was a lot of international people who work at restaurants. It used to be like two or three black people, black. I mean black, not Somalian, not Ethiopian, not none of that. No, it's classified as black Americans that was working in these restaurants. They're no longer working. They were hired when they get immediate, they were hired, then they were fired them after 3 or 4 months, or cut the hours down where they can't afford to work there. There was a lot of scamming and scheming and stuff going on. I would talk to them and they would tell me things, and I was like, man, that's sad. But I'm glad now we're dealing with this. What is your take on this? Do you think this president's administration is doing the right thing by cleaning up and getting rid of people that don't belong here? Do you think this is the right way to go about this? More likely, people gonna say no. Some gonna say yeah. But what is your opinion? I'd like to hear your comment. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. I think this is a great thing. I think America. We didn't know how our deficit. We just we just had our deficit rise at an astronomical amount of money that was out of nowhere. There's no way in the last 8 years, last 12 years, we go up that many trillions of dollars. Come on, it was impossible. Without you can't go from the last 20 years. Let's just place it from 2000 and then go 2000 below. What was the major shift besides the war? And we could do it. We could deal with. Let's say we could, let's give it. Let's even just give $1 trillion to the war effort. Let's give $1 trillion away. Okay, now we no longer have a war. Uh, um, what's the other situation where we had all them trillions of dollars in debt that escalated so far, so rapidly, so quickly? Then the last from 1980 to 2000. Let's go 20 years, 1980 to 2000 to 2000 now. Why do we have all this billions of dollars, trillions of dollars in debt? What's the major? Now we're seeing it. We're seeing the fraud. We're seeing the manipulation. We're seeing the levels of corruption on many levels. Politics, nonprofit sector, uh, welfare systems, Medicaid, all the systems that was being funded by the federal government that was pushing the budget, the deficit up. Now we're seeing it. We're dealing with it. What is your opinion? Leave a message down below. Let me know what you think. I'm not gonna be the dead rag. But what do you guys think? Stop this.